JCPenney is soon going to have a new CEO, and he's coming from one of the biggest corporate brands in America. What am I talking about? Well, it's Apple. The department store chain's shares are trading slightly off this morning in the pre-market, but it jumped 17% yesterday when it was announced that Ron Johnson will be taking over in November. Leah Hartman is the senior vice president and also the retail analyst at CRT Capital Group. Says JCPenney is fairly valued, but needs to reach a younger audience. And Leah, is Ron Johnson the person to do that?
You know, he's certainly coming from the last 11 years of a consumer that tends to be younger, tends to be faster paced, and he's brought a lot of innovation to retail. And it's JCPenney is certainly standing well to benefit from that. The question will be to the translation of selling Apple products and turning that into department store destination retailing and selling apparel.
Is this as surprising to you as it was for others that that JCPenney would pick somebody from outside the department retail space?
It is surprising to me, but Penneys has been under a transition for several years with Mr. Ullman, but more recently with activist shareholders Pershing Square and Vornado Trust. So I think the expectation was more that the company would do something with their real estate, so this was definitely a surprise. I'm very excited to see him come in. It will be an interesting culture change for him and for the JCPenney senior management team.
Well, what's going to be the biggest cultural issue for him, or what's going to be the biggest issue for him?
I believe that he's used to pushing people to think outside the so-called box, if you will, and that coming into this being faster paced, I'm not so sure that department stores in general are that fast paced, but it's absolutely critical for the department stores and JCPenney to attract that younger customer, and that means reaching them through social media. It means faster, quicker, style and value. So Penneys is known for value. They've been working on style, and I think that Mr. Johnson has an opportunity to really step up that pace of innovation.
Right, they're not known for their young audience. Leah, let me read for you a quote from Ron Johnson. He gave this interview to the Journal after this appointment, and he said, quote, "The department store is kind of king of the hill in most countries I go to. They should be the leader, and that is what we want to achieve at JCPenney." So that's a big mandate for him. You know, aside from what you just outlined, I mean, what is it exactly? What's he going to have to show investors to show them that he actually has the idea of turning around a department store?
Well, it's very interesting because the share price certainly reacted well to having an infusion of someone younger and coming from such a well-known company as Apple and successful. He's also been quoted as saying, "We need to rethink everything." That's a little bit scary if you're a member of JCPenney, I would think. But from a shareholder view, that also means that he will be looking at everything from fresh eyes. It will take some time, and I think that may be the translation of how fast can JCPenney move. It's not known for being a quick mover. It is known for doing some very good things recently with Sephora in the stores and Liz Claiborne as exclusive and M&G by Mango. But I think it's the expectation from shareholders of how quickly Mr. Johnson can lead to change, which then leads to profitability, because change often costs money.
It does indeed. Leah, thank you very much. Really appreciate you joining us. Leah Hartman of CRT Capital Group on JCPenney and Apple.